Our parents are hoarders. OMG. And they think that like we're going to want this stupid, wooden carved duck. How many of you feel like you have at least, without question, at least 100 items right now in your home that you do not need and do not want? Just say yes in the comments. Yes. Right. 100. Yeah. I forget what the estimate is, but it's something like in the thousands of items that people have in their home that they don't use and really don't want. And for the most part, you wouldn't even know they were gone if they were missing. You wouldn't even know. How many of you, like right now, you can think of an item that every time you walk past it, you think, oh, thanks, honey. I appreciate that. My throat thanks you. Every time you walk past this item, it stresses you out a little bit because you know you don't want it. It's taking up space. And you need to do something with it. You don't like it. It doesn't belong there. It doesn't match. You just don't need it. Like you've just got this whole situation where you're like, every time I walk past it, it weighs on me. It creates overwhelm. It makes me annoyed. It makes me frustrated, right? Almost give it away. Because what happens is, and I think our parents did this to us. I'm not sure if this is where it came from, but in the generation above most of us, at least my parents, there was this mentality that like everything had value and you hold on to everything. Like our parents are hoarders. OMG. And they think that like we're going to want this stupid, wooden carved duck for what? And there's a story behind it, but you're like, it's a beautiful story, but like, I don't want that duck. Please. Right. And so I think it's part of that guilt mentality that we feel like we're being wasteful or that we don't appreciate money or don't appreciate things if we sell things below what their value is, or if we give things away. And I just want you to remember that no matter what the sentimental value is, the person who gave that to you, they didn't want to give to you overwhelm. They didn't want to give to you a burden. And it has clearly become a burden now. So sell it at a price where you can get rid of it fast. And if you don't, well, then I'm suggesting you just donate and let somebody else sell it. But don't get greedy, because when you start getting greedy about prices, that makes sense if you're going to become a professional reseller, but not when you first get started. Even if that's your mentality, like long-term, you'd like to become a professional reseller, which is very, very capable in your first year to make 6 figures reselling. I hope you realize how today that is so doable for anyone. But unless that's your goal, and even if that is your goal, initially you just have to get started and get momentum. Pick the thing where you're like, oh, I know this would sell so fast. There's an item that if you priced it right, meaning well below retail, it would sell friggin' fast. And you see when you go to Poshmark or eBay or Facebook Marketplace, you see that a lot of them have sold already, or this is an in-demand item. Pick the thing, what you want when it comes to business, because like we're really trying to teach you how to have a business mentality, is you want the quick win. Quick win gives you a dopamine hit. It gives you confidence. It gives you momentum. It gives you excitement. It gives you it just feels good. Pick something that is in major demand. We get this question a lot. I'm going to give you the specific example, but insert your own bizarre thing that you want to know if you could sell, right? Like, can you sell underwear? Can you sell old socks? Can you sell bathing suits? Can you sell like all these things? The answer is yes, because you never know how someone is planning to use it. They might be cutting up that bathing suit to make Barbie doll clothing, and they need a special type of Lycra. They might be using those old socks for sock puppets, or you just never know how people are repurposing things. So the answer is, can this be sold? The answer is yes. Mm-hmm. And if you're not sure, just go Google it real quick, because you'll have your answer. Once you decide, okay, I'm going to do this full time, then you are going to set up a very specific system. And it makes it so much easier to photograph, to write the descriptions, and then to list the item once you have the system in place. We want you to just take a few pictures of the few items that you're going to list and list them. I really want you to ask yourself, what is holding you back? For those people who have not yet listed anything, and you actually in your mind, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to do this. Like you're already doubting whether you're actually going to list something. I need to speak very honestly to you. As you know, I'm your pushy older sister. And so I'm going to be very honest with you and tell you, time is a BS excuse. it's a BS excuse, because this could change your life. The question is, what are you afraid of? Because it's not time. Because you and I both know you could wake up 30 minutes earlier. You could go to bed 30 minutes late. It's 30 minutes max. Max. I guarantee you've scrolled on Facebook, or you've sat down to watch TV, or you've done something where you're like, well, that was kind of just something to procrastinate with. You've done something that just kept you busy, but it didn't change anything about your life. So the way you get over overthinking is by taking action that you don't want to take. The difference between you and somebody who actually does this and makes a boatload of money, the difference between the way you're living your life today and the way you want to be living your life, the things you want to have, is doing the things you know you need to do, even when you don't feel like doing them, and prioritizing those things. Otherwise, you stay stuck. Nothing changes. Someone said, oh, it's work. Well, you have the option to quit your job if you build a healthy side hustle. You don't have that option if you don't prioritize doing the first 30-minute thing. And I just am going to be very honest and tell you, I don't know that everybody has that in them. Some people are just paralyzed by fear of failure. And I often believe that has to do with our parents who made you believe that if you didn't do it perfectly, then don't even bother, because then you were a failure, or you weren't loved, or it wasn't good enough, or even when you did try your best, it was criticized, or you weren't meant to feel like you had done it correctly, like you had done something wrong. And parents can do a number on us. And what that does when you get caught up in that perfection thinking is it allows your parents or your early caretakers or those early experiences to continue to hold your life hostage. And you are giving that person, that experience, permission. Nobody can do that without your permission. You're literally giving people permission to do that. You can't experience greatness, you can't expect to change anything about your life if you're not willing to get just a little bit uncomfortable. And we're talking 30 minutes to list 3 items, max. If you ain't got 30 minutes to list 3 items and start a side hustle, I just don't think you should be here, honestly, because you're not committed to you yet. So you got to ask yourself, what do you have to stop doing so you have time to do what you know you need to do? Sometimes it's not about creating a to-do list. It's creating a do not do list. I will not go on TikTok. I will not go on Instagram. I will not scroll. I will not get caught up watching TV. I will not sleep in. Like whatever it is that has to come off your plate or your agenda so that you can move your life forward. And that's really important, because I know you have greatness inside of you, and you can ask the people who've been with me a long time, nothing makes me more infuriated or angry than seeing great people being held back by things their parents said to them or early childhood experiences that made them create false negative beliefs that made them think that they didn't have what it takes. Y'all know that there's people who are making a ton of money and living these great lives, and they're not nearly as smart as you, or as friendly, or as nice, or as kind, or as capable. So instead of being annoyed by them, decide that you're worth it. Decide that you're worth getting a little uncomfortable, doing the thing that you know you need to do, and stop making excuses. It's facts. I want to give you that message, because I don't know that sometimes we let the excuses in our head get so loud that we start to believe them. And when we repeat those excuses, they become our reality. Like right now, you don't have any time because that's what you've been saying to yourself. Whatever is important to you, listen. If it's important to you, you find the time. If it's not important, you find an excuse. So let's go. The action plan is pick the 3 items you know are going to sell the quickest. Take pictures of them, a bunch of pictures, and throw them up. Throw them up on any app. Okay? What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You have to reduce the price. You're going to sell them. You're going to sell them. And if you do not have time, I bet you do have time to outsource this to a teenager down the street or a kid in your house or your sister-in-law, or someone will do this for you. And you just have to get the ball rolling. Stop seeing obstacles and start seeing your path. Just list an item. Just list an item. You don't have to sell it. Just list it, because that's going to give you that momentum. Say, well, at least I did it. You can always drop the price. Like, I want you to have that success. My question is this: will you do that? Will you list an item?